Hey everybody, it's Noah, and like I said, I'm going to be bringing you guys the part 2 of the Stalker Crush story video, and I'm gonna start where I left off. I'm really sorry about making the video so fucking long. I did not expect part 1 to turn out to be 14 minutes. Like geez, for real here, that was probably one of the longest videos that I've ever made in my entire history of my YouTube channel. I think only one video was longer and it was like 15 minutes or something like that. So anyways, let's get right into this. So basically where I left off was that I didn't get a clear answer from Tabitha whether she liked me or not and whether she wanted to talk to me more, and also her friend said that she was heartbroken because I didn't speak with her enough, and I kind of disappeared for a month during the whole time period that I was going through some drama with Gerald, and I was just so worried that something was gonna happen to me that I didn't want to get her wrapped up in my drama, but I was over exaggerating shit and that was my problem. But anyways, towards the end of June, I finally decide, you know what, fuck it. You know, I've got nothing to lose, so I decided to test my theory that Tabitha was this person named Zero. That's not her actual name, but it was someone that I was talking to online for a very, very long time. This person had always kind of had a weird interest in me, and I could never really explain it, so I kind of thought to myself, okay, well, maybe she might actually just be Tabitha, because a lot of the things correlated to how I met Tabitha B, and this Tabitha B person had appeared around the exact same time that Zero showed up, and I had met Zero on a forum when I was reporting something relating to a kid that was getting bullied by a bunch of people in the intro community. We started talking, and since then, she helped me make a lot of my YouTube videos, and she called me weird names like Princess and stuff like that. And anyways, I'm getting sidetracked, but basically what happened was I started talking to this person. I told them, look, I need some advice. I told them about the drama between me and Gerald and how I completely lost all chances with this girl. And she started off by saying, oh, I thought you wanted advice on how to cheat on a test. And I was like, nah. And so then I finally hit her with it, and I was like, yeah, I believe that you're Tabitha. And then she was like, nah, I'm not Tabitha. And I talked to her more, and I told her everything, and she was like, and she basically told me, I don't know why you're telling me all of this IRL stuff, but I guess if you need somebody to vent it to, then I'm here, I guess. I kept talking to her and telling her everything that was going on, and around the same time I was on Instagram, and I saw a person make a comment on one of the posts where Tabitha and Chung Lee were talking, and this guy was saying, oh, you two are my favorite girls, heart emoji, and I kind of blew that out of proportion. And I made a video on Snapchat calling him a fuckboy and saying how he dumped his ex-girlfriend really, really badly and how she got really depressed because I was in a class with her, and I was saying, oh, you don't deserve those two. And oh man, he actually responded, and it was pretty funny. He was like, oh, me and Chung Li are really good friends. I don't know why you start shit like this. And that was basically the shitstorm that happened with that. I was already in some decent drama with that guy because I was like, oh, Bob can keep all the shitty hoes. The reason why I don't act like a fuckboy and try to get girls is because they're just a waste of time, and most of the girls in this school are shit anyways, which I do kind of believe, but it's not really about looks. It's about personality and similar interests, which none of the girls in my school really have anyways, except for a couple, but they're really just friends, and I don't really see myself getting into a relationship in high school, which kind of sucks because I wanted to when I was younger, but now I just don't have a match with anybody. And the one girl that I did see myself with, well, I'm going to tell you guys how that pretty much got screwed even further. And I was texting another girl about Tabitha and the whole thing that was going down in June named Stacy, and she was giving me some advice, and she was saying, oh, you gotta make a move. Come on, no, you can do it. And I did make a move on Tabitha, but just nothing too direct and nothing that I really got a response from, and nothing where she was like, oh, I'll hit you up some other time, oh, hey, what's up? There was nothing really positive that came out of me trying to make moves on Tabitha, and that's what I was telling Stacy this whole time, and she was just kind of there for me because I was really bummed out about it. And so I was talking to her, and by the end of June, some weird shit went down. I'm not really going to talk about it that much, but basically, long story short, it ended up with Zero talking to a bunch of my friends, and basically I got really paranoid about a bunch of people, and I got really paranoid about Gerald because I saw some weird things on his Instagram, and I started to get paranoid, and I was like, I took some screenshots and I told a couple of my friends about it just to make sure that everything was alright with him, and I kind of blew it out of proportion. I don't really want to go into too much detail in this video because I just don't necessarily want to talk about it, and it's not really related to the story. But basically what it ended with was this guy telling me that he had a philosophy that he'd kill anyone that messes with him. Obviously this guy was just all talk and he was just very mad, but I still wasn't taking any chances, so I decided to leave town and go into the city and stay with my grandparents. And I was texting Zero there, and then she started saying some weird shit like, I'm in your room right now, I'm following you. and she kind of like indirectly implied that she was starting to stalk me. And so I got very scared, and out of paranoia I started paying attention to like hotspots in the black SUVs that were following me and my grandma a lot. And there's a genuine explanation for this. In the city there's a lot of problems with like terrorist threats and everything like that, so the FBI has a strong presence in Manhattan. But stupid me was like, oh my god, this person like has control of the FBI, and she's like hired some people to stalk me or some shit like that. And another theory I had in my head was that her dad worked for the FBI, and so she somehow managed to like get some connections to like stalk people, which is obviously completely BS, but I got like really paranoid about it. And me and my grandma, we went in to go see a play, and I saw like 3 black cars parked in front of the place. And I was like, Grandma, if the FBI comes in here, we did nothing wrong. And she was like, Noah, you're going fucking delusional. And so I was going into a shop later that morning, and I saw a hotspot that said, I like your hair. And yeah, after all of that shit, I decided to put my phone away for about a week, and that was pretty much the end of it. And when I got back on my phone after a week, and this Zero person was like, is this her? And she sent me a picture of Tabitha's actual Instagram account, which at the time she had blocked me. And I was like, yeah, it's her. And I asked her again, and Zero was like, yeah, she blocked me instantly. And this Zero person made an Instagram account that had the words Nina in it, and I was like thinking, okay, well, Nina is actually a name that Tabitha has used on multiple occasions on her accounts. So I was like, well, maybe this is like a subliminal message or like one of those associations. And then I was like just kind of blowing it out of proportion, getting really paranoid again. But basically for all of July, I was texting Zero, and there wasn't like too much weird stalking going on because I was still in the city. I could have sworn I saw Tabitha like once or twice, but there are a lot of people that look like each other, so I do believe it was a coincidence. But I looked at Tabitha's Instagram, and she was like in New York City at the time, so who knows? I mean, she could have been keeping a close eye on me. I don't really know for sure. But anyways, on with the story. So basically towards August, Stacy was like, alright, so I kind of want to join a group chat. I'm bored, you know, I'm sitting here all the time just on my phone, no one's hitting me up. These video games that I'm playing on Xbox are getting kind of boring, so let's start up a group chat, Noah. And I was like, alright, so let's start up a group chat with Zero. And so Zero was like, alright, so I'm gonna join your Discord server as Tabitha. And I was like, well, why? Can't you just choose a better name? And then she was like, well, you see, Stacy still kind of thinks that I'm Tabitha, so I kind of want to mess with her a little bit more. And I was like, alright, whatever you say. So then we end up starting a Twitter chat instead, and then she was like, yeah, hi, I'm Tabitha, and I actually helped Noah with his YouTube channel. I hunt pedophiles online, which is what Zero does a lot. And so then Stacy was like, oh, I can't believe I'm third wheeling this. And Zero started messing with me and started saying stuff like, Noah, what are we gonna do tonight? And I was like, oh, we never talked about this. And then Zero was like, yes, we did. And I was like, no, you can't come to my house. It's like 10 o'clock. And then she was like, oh, well, I'll just come through your backyard. And I don't even know how Zero knows I have a backyard unless she is actually Tabitha. And so, I mean, I was just getting really paranoid again, and I was thinking to myself, well, maybe it actually is Tabitha now, like, holy shit. But then I pushed it to the side, and we invited more people to the chat, and she told one of them, yeah, I'm Tabitha. And he sent this weird picture, and so I had to go back to the school to take my Regents, and guess who was in my Regents review class when I had to go retake my stuff? Fucking Chung Lee. And it was really, really awkward when I got there and I saw her, and she was like hanging out with this dude, and then she kind of came up to my face making some weird like expression, and I was just like kind of weirded out by that. And then she kind of just walked away. And so basically I was like incredibly uncomfortable in that review class for a couple of days, and then Chung Lee finally decided to walk up to me and say hey, and I just kind of ignored her, and that was really it. So the next day I was like, okay, well, maybe she wants to talk to me about Tabitha. And so I was like, alright, I'm ready to talk. And then she told me, was it all about Tabitha? I was trying to protect her. And now you're gonna start thinking to yourself, okay, Noah, what the fuck are you on? Why did you say that you were trying to protect her? Now, this is what I'm going to explain to you guys. She was talking to another person online who I was like kind of making the conspiracy theory that this person was actually Gerald in disguise. And I kind of like was really suspicious of this dude because he was like always trying to keep tabs on this person. And so basically I thought that I was protecting her from him, and I was still in a bunch of shit with like Gerald, and Gerald was still like really mad at me. because like I went on Xbox to try and talk things out with Gerald, but then I started to get booted out of my Xbox party, and that's when I started to get convinced that I thought that he was like a hacker or something like that, or at least someone involved with like anonymous activities online. And so basically, long story short, I thought that I was protecting Tabitha from Gerald, who actually wasn't really talking to her at all, but Zero was saying stuff, and she was still pretending to be Tabitha, and she was like saying, oh, you're not doing anything with me, so me and Gerald, we're gonna go out. I've already asked him to the movies, and if things go well with us, we're gonna rent a room. Like, just imagine this, okay? The person that you think is your crush is basically saying, oh, you know, I'm an anonymous person, there's no proof that it's actually me, just only text that I've really sent you that kind of lines up with me a little bit, but I'm gonna go out with your friend, and if things go well with us, Saturday, we're gonna rent a room and we're gonna have sex. Like, and it just sounded completely absurd because the girl was only 16. But anyways, the girl was like really weirded out by it. Chung-Li was like trying her hardest not to be weirded out by what I just said, and she was like, oh, we'll talk later, and she just left like that. Yeah, and I thought that she was like involved with me talking to Tabitha online anonymously, but that turned out to be like not true, or just unknown. I didn't really necessarily know, but I was still very confused during the week of like Regent's review. And so basically what happened was Chung-Li and Tabitha had a sleepover, and the reason why I found out about this was because I was talking with Zero, and I was also talking with Stacy, because in the morning I went out to get a Snapple from the fridge outside, and I overheard someone call the name of Chung-Li. So I asked Stacy, what was Tabitha and Chung-Li doing last night? And then she was like, oh, they were having a sleepover. And I was like, boom, damn. So right now, I'm going to tell you guys the main reason why I thought that Zero was Tabitha and also my stalker. So basically, I would go outside and go on my trampoline a lot, and I would have conversations with one of my best friends. I'm going to call him Mr. Table, because that's the nickname that he likes being called. So me and Mr. Table, we would have conversations a lot, and then sometimes I would get a reaction from my neighbors, like across, like not my direct neighbors, but people that live like 2 yards over, and I overheard like the dad say, so it is true. And then this like girl was like arguing with her father. I didn't think much of it, but I kind of thought in the back of my head, holy shit, what if it actually is Tabitha, and what if they were like listening to me just like rant? And so another occasion occurred where the dad was like talking to this girl who I assumed to be Tabitha, and he was like just arguing with her, and the girl was like, that's not stalking, I love him. And I was like, holy fucking shit, this is the proof right here. Oh my god, boys, holy shit, I'm actually being stalked by my fucking crush. This is like a dream come true, just not one of my weird fetishes. Completely not. Like, you know, it's completely normal to want to be stalked by the girl that you're in love with. It's completely normal, totally not insane. But I did still think about it, and I was like, okay, would I rather my crush not stalk me and not give a shit about me, or stalk me and pretend to not give a shit about me? And I was like, well, you know, I'm obviously gonna take the one where she actually secretly gives a shit about me. This and a bunch of other stuff that occurred online like about 3 years ago, where this person was harassing me and basically like saying that they loved me or something like that. I mean, a friend of mine took credit for most of it, but I still kind of thought that it was Tabitha. You guys know the Mr. Steal Your Girl video, and how like I kind of didn't get to ask Tabitha out because I was nervous and everything like that, and she made a bunch of nicknames on Kick, saying like fuck the Kings, and referencing to the fact that she was like going through a bunch of emotional shit. I don't really know if like over that summer she was just like really upset that I didn't ask her out or anything like that. She was like going through a lot of emotional shit, like as implied on Kick. And yeah, I mean, I overheard some other stuff that happened between her and her father, and I'm not really gonna talk about that in this video because, like, I mean, it wasn't really that big of shit, but it was kind of like, you know, some of the fights that they had. And I wasn't intentionally eavesdropping on it or anything like that. I was just kind of like on my trampoline while their little arguments happened, and I kind of felt a little bit awkward about it, and almost a little bit bad. But I mean, I have arguments with my parents all the time, and like, it's not really that big of a deal. And I thought to myself, shit happens. I'm gonna end off part 2 here. Part 3 should be out maybe like Saturday or Sunday, so I hope you guys look forward to that. Thank you guys so much for watching, and stay tuned. Peace.
We had mountains to climb, but I've fallen right back. The simplest things that I couldn't mimic, I'm so sorry I had to resign that. But don't get it twisted, no, not looking to come back. Design was inefficient, couldn't hear you, never listened to get us on right tracks. But maybe you feel betrayed, or even abandoned perhaps. I guess those feelings were short-lived when I saw you beside him and had your arms tight wrapped. But you could say you love me at all, now I couldn't believe that. My head hurts, I'm stuck and I'm sinking the thoughts in the past, and now